All right, good afternoon to you. I'm Fox 26 meteorologist Ramisha Shade. After I clear my throat, it's time to track the tropics. Of course, this is the time of the afternoon where we let you know what's happening, if anything, across the Atlantic Ocean, the Caribbean Sea, and the Gulf. So let's start off with where we've been so far for this hurricane season. We are into the second month of the 2025 Atlantic Basin hurricane season, and we've already had three systems, three named storms, the A, B, and C storms, Andrea, Barry, and Chantal. Next on the list would be Dexter. We have not had any hurricanes so far. The first three systems did strengthen to tropical storms, but they did not make it up to hurricanes and certainly not major hurricanes. So we haven't had anything too extreme just yet, although Barry did bring some flooding to parts of southeastern Mexico, and Chantal brought some flooding issues over the 4th of July holiday weekend to parts of the Carolinas and mid-Atlantic, and even heavy downpours all the way up to Philly and New York City. So thank goodness things have calmed down. We're quiet now. We're waiting to see if we're going to have Dexter forming out there anytime soon. After that, the next name would be Aaron, then Fernan, Gabrielle. That would take us through the first column of names. And we've got two more to go if we need to use them as we go through the rest of this hurricane season. Tropical satellite showing a little bit of convection out there, some disorganized showers and storms around parts of Central America, Cuba, and over into the Western Atlantic. But looking at this, nothing that is looking very organized at this time. And in fact, the National Hurricane Center thinking that we're not going to have anything really get its act together and get organized, at least for the next week. So that's great news for any cruises that you may have. We also have Saharan dust kind of working in our favor. That actually helps to kind of limit the development of tropical systems, and we have quite a bit out there in the Atlantic, Caribbean, and even into the Gulf, and it's even pushing into the Houston area. So I don't expect us to see much on our Fox Weather tropical model as far as tropical storms or hurricanes blowing up over the next few days. By Saturday afternoon, things are still looking pretty quiet out there. Notice some showers and storms for parts of Mexico, Central America, South Florida, over into some of the Caribbean islands, but it's just the hit or miss, typical summertime showers and storms, and nothing of a tropical variety. So right now we are looking good. National Hurricane Center not thinking that there will be anything of concern for at least the next 7 days. All right, we did have an important update yesterday to our hurricane season outlook. This comes from Colorado State University forecasters, and they did drop the numbers a teeny tiny bit. Named storms from 17 to 16, hurricanes from 9 to 8, and major hurricanes from 4 to 3. This is for the remainder of the Atlantic Basin hurricane season. Notice that even though the numbers dropped a little bit, it is still a little above average. So we will continue thinking that even though things have been fairly quiet for parts of the season so far, we are going to have things kind of ramp up over the next few months. So far, 3 named storms, no hurricanes, and no major hurricanes. So why did the Colorado State University meteorologists lower those numbers a little bit? Well, they're thinking slightly reduced numbers because of strong Caribbean shear. That shear kind of helps to tear these systems apart if and when they try to develop. So that kind of limits development. Although we do still have some things working towards a more active hurricane season. So the shear may limit development, but the waters in the Atlantic Ocean are still very warm, middle to upper 80s in some cases. And then we also are thinking there will not be an El Nino phase going on. So usually with an El Nino, or lack of it rather, we don't have as much activity out there. So we are going to have the potential for a few more hurricanes, tropical systems than average. Always be prepared and have your emergency hurricane gear. So no matter whether things are active or not active, you always want to be ready for these tropical systems because we all know they can pop up quickly. All right, let's switch gears and talk about some potential cruise plans out there. Maybe you're heading from Galveston down to Cancun, maybe down to the Cozumel area, maybe over to Grand Cayman, South Florida, the Bahamas. Wave heights could be a concern in some instances, but not for the next few days. I think wave heights will be anywhere from around 1 to 4 feet. So nothing too crazy for the cruise ship to go through, and water temperatures are going to be on the warm side. So notice water temps here in the 80s. So this is very steamy water, kind of like bath water out there. So we definitely have water warm enough for these tropical systems, just not all of the ingredients coming together. But if you're cruising in the Gulf, in the Western Atlantic, in the Northwest Caribbean, it looks like the water will be warm. There's not going to be a ton of wave action. And there may be a few showers or storms to dodge if you're leaving from Galveston. This is a look at what you can expect in Galveston. If you're leaving today for a cruise, maybe this weekend, there will be a few showers and storms with the exception of Friday. That looks to be the driest day. The best day to leave if you're looking to escape the rain. All right, Grand Cayman weather looking great for this weekend through Monday. Temps in the low 90s, so partly sunny, hot, steamy, but no major tropical trouble expected there. How about Cancun? You're looking good there. Of course, a popular cruise stop, popular vacation spot. Maybe you're hopping on a plane, going to one of the great hotels, enjoying some beach time, pool time, maybe an isolated shower or storm, but we're not expecting anything too severe. Of course, we are into the month of July. Last July, we were hit by Hurricane Beryl on July 8th, knocked out power to over 2 million Houstonians, over a foot of rain. So, of course, we know things can get busy, things can get active in the month of July, but right now it is very quiet out there, and the potential for development for the rest of this month would typically be across the Western Atlantic, Northwestern Gulf, and down towards the Northwestern Caribbean. And even in those spots, looking at this map, they're shaded in yellow. That means there's a low possible chance that we could have tropical development, but it really starts to ramp up as we go through August and September. In fact, notice for August that yellow kind of shifts to orange. That's a more likely risk for those hurricanes across the Western Atlantic and even in the Gulf, north central parts of the Gulf, that threat increasing. Peak of hurricane season, September. Notice the orange kind of shifting to red and purple. That is where we have a really high chance for tropical storms, tropical depressions, hurricanes developing. Western Atlantic, chance for the Gulf increases, and the Caribbean, definitely not safe because the chance increases there as well. So we do expect things to get busier as we go through the rest of this hurricane season. August and especially September. So just because things are quiet now, don't let your guard down. Make sure that you are going over your hurricane emergency gear list. Make sure you have what you need for you and your family, and also know any evacuation routes, and make sure you've got your insurance that you may need for flooding or for wind damage. More Texas Live and Local when we return.